everyone, how is everyone doing today? I am finally back from my vacation. Did you all miss me? Probably not, because there's only like a few of you who watches my videos every week. It has been such a wild, crazy past 2 weeks that I had. I had such an amazing time with my family, and sometimes I just wish there was a little rewind button that I could just press and it would bring me back to that moment. Do you guys ever just feel the same way? Like, do you just ever want to go back to that moment in time? I don't know, maybe it's just me. But today I'm happily, enthusiastically going to share my time and adventure in beautiful Alaska. So I did say that I would vlog some moments in my previous videos, but I failed at that and I did not vlog a single moment of my trip. I did take loads of photos. In fact, when I was transferring my files onto my portable hard drive, on the bottom of the screen it usually shows how many items there are in the file, and when I looked down, there were over 1,400 photos that I took during my trip. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I myself think it's a crazy huge amount of photos. So before I went on this Alaskan adventure, I had 4 relatives that came over from Hong Kong to join us. And after that, we left 2 days after for our journey on July 1st, 2015. So what I'm gonna do is share and tell you all what I did day by day on the cruise. And when I mean day by day, I mean just share a few events that occurred with very little detail. Because if I go on and on and on about what happened each and every day, this video would be about 3 hours long. And I also will show you some pictures that I took, and it turned out pretty awesome and it looks pretty professional. So starting from day 1, we arrived at the cruise port in Vancouver, Canada, and when we entered, a man asked for our luggages, so we gave it to him. And after we went through all the security checks and stuff, we waited in line for about 20 minutes and did that and do this. And after like a gazillion years, I was finding myself inside the ship. I had to admit it, even though this was my 5th time cruising, it still felt like my first. I'm always very excited about traveling to places, especially on a cruise. Once we got onto the ship, we checked out our rooms, which looked something like this. And after, we went straight to the lunch buffet and ate. I mean, that's what I came for, and that's the food. When you are on a cruise, you just eat, because the food doesn't cost any extra money because you already paid for it. So why not stuff your stomach until you feel like barfing? Don't do that. I was just joking. Don't ever do that. Then we went to the top of the ship to watch the ship set sail to Alaska. Once we got up there, it was hella windy. And we were only like going 2 knots, which is like walking speed. My hair was flying this way, left and right, my clothes felt like flying off my body. It was just a big mess out there. And here's a video for you all to see. Sorry about the noise, but that was the wind. See what I mean? We went for dinner and explored some parts of the ship, watched a live show performance, and basically that was the end of the first day. So the second day was called an at-sea day, meaning that we're just sailing on the water for the whole day just to get to our first port, which was called Juneau, Alaska. It took about 2 days just to get to Juneau, and basically I hadn't set foot on land for about 48 hours. So that day we didn't do much, since there was not really much scenery to look at outside, and the ship was really rocky, so a lot of people had motion sickness. And I was lucky enough not to have such a severe motion sickness, but I did feel nauseous in some point in time. Oh, and here's a picture that I took of the sea. So moving on to day 3, we all woke up, had breakfast, but then we realized that we don't get to Juneau until 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So we had about 5 hours to spare. So what we did was check out the shops that were on board the ship, and there were about 5 different shops that were on board. And the time flew past so quickly that it was time to eat lunch. We were so close to approaching Juneau because when we entered the dining room, we all looked out the window and we finally saw some buildings, trees, people, and houses, and land. We ate lunch and I ate a delicious meal, and it's famously called fish and chips, and it looked like this. We then got off the ship and I was so glad to set foot on ground finally. The smell of Alaskan air was so fresh and clean. There weren't a lot of fun things to do there except for probably shopping for like souvenirs, clothing, jewelry, and maybe some restaurants. Not many people lived in that particular area in Alaska, but it was also the capital city. So I was a bit surprised. So I did buy a few souvenirs on the way, and I would show you all what I bought, but I've decided to leave that in another upcoming video where I just share what I bought in Alaska. So that will be another separate video that will be coming soon. That day wasn't as interesting, but here are a few pictures for you all to see that I took along the way. Moving on to the fourth day, and we were in Skagway, Alaska. Now this was a fun day. I want to tell you all about it, but it will be too long, so I'll shorten it up. So what happened that day was amazing. We went on a train ride, and I know that doesn't sound too amusing or fun, but it was worth the money. We went on this train that was carrying about 9 or 10 different cars, and it took us about 28 feet up to the mountains. We went to different areas and locations in Alaska. We went in and out of long tunnels, and also we went through bridges. It was such an amazing time, and here are a few beautiful pictures that I took along the way. Now the reflections of the mountains that you just saw was beyond amazing in person. It was so quiet and peaceful, and it was so nice just to see the reflections. It was sure a great fun time. After that experience, we of course had to shop around the neighborhood of Skagway. Oh, and before I forget, here's another beautiful shot, the sunset. Day 5, and I already have a feeling that this video will be about 10 to 15 minutes long. Oh dear. Anyways, this was another day where we couldn't get off the ship and explore the place because we were in beautiful Glacier Bay, Alaska. And for those who don't know exactly what that is, it is a national park and preserve in Alaska. And in that particular area, it's where you can find and see glaciers, mountains, and it's all surrounding that area. I feel like a tour guide saying all this. Here are some breathtaking pictures I want to show you all. See, isn't it amazing? Unbelievable, right? Also, that was what we did for part of the day, was just look at ice. And to be honest, it was kind of enjoyable. On our 6th day, we arrived at the final stop of the trip, which was Ketchikan, Alaska. This was the place that I was looking forward to the most because this is my 3rd time being here, and every time I go, I never wanted to leave. During this day, we had tons of fun, and that included shopping of course. But we also went on this little elevator tramp that escalated us to the top of the mountain. It wasn't very high, but you were able to see the ocean, some trees, and the cruise ships that were on port. There wasn't much to see up there except for some trees and mountains, but we just want to go up just for the fun of the ride. We took the tramp back down, and we continued our way through the shops, and we looked at this and that. We explored other parts of the city, and we were very fortunate that it was sunny and hot that day. Because usually in Ketchikan, it rains a lot and sometimes even non-stop. After that, we headed back to the ship, and that was our last final port of the trip, and that was our 2nd last day as well. The 7th and final day, I was kind of sad but happy at the same time. Since we were heading back to Vancouver, we were against the waves that was coming towards us, if you know what I mean, and the ship was once again really rocky and shaky. We didn't do much that day, but we decided to go around the whole ship and take pictures of artifacts, sculptures, and pretty much anything we could find that looked nice and we could take a picture of. Oh, and I don't think I showed you a picture of our ship, but here it is. It wasn't the fanciest, nicest, biggest one out there, but it didn't really matter to us as long as we had a fun, enjoyable time. The 8th day was when we arrived back in Vancouver, and we had a selected time to disembark the ship, or in other words, get off the ship. So we chose the latest time available, which was 8:45. So we left at that time, and it was basically the end for that cruise. We said our last goodbyes to the ship, and we got off the ship for good. Or until next time, which hopefully will be very soon. We had to pick up our luggages because the night before, we left our luggages outside our room so it could be taken. So when we got off the ship, we wouldn't have to be carrying all these big luggages with us. So we had to find our luggages, of course, because there were tons of them laying on the ground. And also we had to go through security once again, which took about 10 minutes including lineup. And after that, we took the bus back home. Man, that was a lot to say about my cruise. I had so much fun, and this was probably the best cruise I've been on so far. This was just a little glimpse of what happened during my cruise, and I wish I could tell you a lot more because I do have a lot of things to say, but if I did, this video would be very, very long. I will also do another video that will probably be uploaded next week. It will be about what I bought, including souvenirs, clothes, and a lot more that I cannot wait to share with you all. Sorry if this video was really long, but hopefully not boring, because I really want to share my experience with you all. And also, if you made it to the very, very end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and also make sure to subscribe by clicking here, and also click the boxes below to watch my 2 previous videos. And also, you should follow me on Twitter. I'll have all the links below. Thanks all for watching, and I'll see you next week with a brand new video. See you soon.